Hey guys, we're down here at Waterfront, and we got a special young man with us today. It's Mr. John Dalton Miller. Everybody calls him JD at Waterfront, and we are just tickled to death to have him working here. He is one of the finest young men that I know of, and he was in a tournament. Was it a week ago, John?
A week or maybe, 2 weeks ago now, maybe.
2 weeks ago?
March 8th was when the BFL.
March the 8th.
Yes, sir.
All right, what tournament was you fishing?
So this was the Major League Fishing. This is the BFL Choo-Choo Division stop number 2 out of Dayton, Tennessee. So it was on Chick. We had Gunnersville first, then Chick, then about to go to Wheeler. So.
Okay, so you're fishing all the Choo-Choo divisions.
Yes, sir.
The BFLs. What else are you fishing?
This year, I'm going to do some stuff on Gunnersville. I know we got the USA Bassin. It's going to start up. Mr. Fortner starting that up and everything. So I'm pretty much this year doing BFLs for kind of the regional stuff.
Right.
And then I'm just going to do a lot of Gunnersville stuff. And that's enabled me to kind of, when y'all let me, do these trips. And I've got to learn more about fishing by going to Florida, going to places and just fishing for fun.
Right.
So in a couple of years, we might get back into the big turns. So we're just trying to get better this year in practice. And
well, so far this year started out with a bang,
and I've really I've enjoyed fishing more this year and just more fired up about it. Been more excited about it than I have in a long time. So
that's good. You got that fire built under you.
Oh yeah, it's burning now. I'm ready to go fishing right now.
Can't even sit still, can you?
No, I can't. I can't ever sit still. But
that's right.
But once again, I'm just blessed to work at Waterfront. I love being JD from Waterfront, and thank y'all for letting me off to go fish these tournaments.
That's great.
That's where it all starts, is having some good people that'll support you and let you do what you want to do, and that's what Paul and Jenna do. So
great. Well, that sounds good. I appreciate the comment.
Yes.
And so let's get into the real good stuff.
Yeah.
I want you to walk us through. I ain't gonna show it right now, but I want you to walk us through the Chick tournament.
So. The Chick tournament, go back to the weekend before that. I went up there with my good friend Johnny. That goes with me to pre-fish. He rides along, helps us with the hotel room. So we went up there the weekend before, had a very difficult time fishing. And then, we caught some that Sunday. Saturday was no bueno. And then I come back to work, and then I planned on working Monday through Friday, but I forgot that, Eden had me off the day before tournament. So I'm like, I get another day to go. Practice again. So went up there again that Friday, fished from daylight till about lunchtime. Well, was going to fish all day, but put in that morning. I'm just going to say I simplified what I thought I was going to do. I kind of went to fishing a way that I could suit my strengths. Exactly. And had a great day. I kind of felt something changing then. I caught a 6 and a 5 that Friday. Had some other great keepers. Had a low to mid-20s bag that Friday.
Wow.
So then I took out, but I wasn't beating them up on one spot. I was just I was running a pattern. I caught one here, go to the next deal. I had that pattern figured out.
What was you throwing?
I was throwing a lipless crankbait.
Wow.
Which people don't believe. I did a lot of forward facing sonar over there. I did catch fish doing that and practice and stuff. But I knew the areas that I figured it was going to be, say, one on. The distance from takeoff, and I was being realistic because I'm a numbers guy. I knew I wasn't going to win that boat race down there anyway. And then I couldn't get enough of those fish to actually commit to my bait to give me the confidence to go catch 5 big ones down there.
Right.
So I wound up burning a lot less gas fishing my wave. So I took out that Friday, around lunchtime, went back to the motel room, started rigging stuff up, and I just prayed it wasn't a fluke, because it was kind of simple. It was really so simple how I was catching them,
Right.
It was, exactly. But it wasn't. It involved, a lot of current, which we've had. So I prayed it wasn't a fluke. Rigged up 6 of my ducket rods, put them in the motel room, got me some Subway, was in bed by 8 o'clock that night, and woke up the next morning and I was ready to go. And I didn't know. I was just hoping, I was going to be able to get a limit off that pattern, then upgrade, and the good Lord let that 11-10 be the first bite I had that morning.
The what?
11-10. So
you said that so calmly.
Yeah. It's just I'm just now, kind of like it actually happened,
Right.
But that morning, I ran to the spot where I caught the 6-pounder per se on Friday. Just praying, because I figured some other people found it too. So I ran to it. And the first fish I hooked, I'm throwing my lipless crankbait, and I'm reeling, and all of a sudden I load up on a fish, and I instantly felt it dig. So I'm like, okay, this may not be a bass. So I look at my co-angler. He was a great guy, and I go, hey, can you get the net just in case? Well, he gets the net, and I'm fighting this fish. Thank the Lord I wasn't fighting it too hard because I'm not really sure it's a bass.
Right.
And then it comes up about 15 yards from the boat, and I saw enough color to be like, it's a bass.
Wow.
I said, it's a giant bass. And it goes out in the current and starts fighting. And, it fought, but thankfully, it kind of played itself into my favor.
Right.
I remember I had all these flashbacks from previous Toyotas. Treble hooks are awesome. They hook fish, but you lose a lot of big fish on them, especially when you don't want to. I mean, you see it happen in all these
They
pros
can pull hard.
Yeah, and the fish can get leverage on a bait. They can turn, and they can rip the hooks out of their mouth. But this fish was hooked very good, and I just remember it coming up, my co-angler getting the net under it, and then he said, "How big do you think it is?" And I said, "It's at least 8." But because I have never caught a 10 before that, guys. I really hadn't. And people, I've been fishing Guntersville every weekend per se since 2009,
right?
At least. So, and I've been blessed with my fair share of 7s. A great bit of decent bit of 8-pounders and stuff. But that, let's just say between that 9-pound and double-digit mark, I never had really, caught one, seen one, held one. I fished with a lot of great people, and even them, most of them have never caught DD, and a lot of them are better than I am. And I mean, they're out here all the time catching big sacks all the time.
Right. Exactly.
So it's just, we used to joke, do they really exist?
Right.
We would watch videos from Texas and Florida and stuff, and just wonder, but and they've been caught here every year.
Yes, they have.
So. They live in Guntersville.
Exactly. Now, how many casts had you made before you hooked this fish?
My co-angler says my 3rd cast that morning, but it was definitely one of my first 5 casts.
Really?
Because, like I said, you can still hear boats taking off. I pull up. I wasn't really far from takeoff. I was a little bit of a run, but you could still hear all the blast off going on and stuff. And I leaned to this fish, and it's I didn't know what it was at first,
right?
Because I still have my Fish Monkey gloves on. It's early in the morning,
right.
I'm still cold, and next thing you know, I'm fighting this fish, and then it comes up, but
you got warm, didn't you?
Yeah, real quick. Took the gloves off, and the fish was hooked very good. And one thing was like, okay, I got to keep this fish alive all day. And thankfully, it lived all day. It did great.
Good.
But it was so big that I got a Ranger boat, and it didn't really fit in the line fill that good.
Was it bent around?
Well, its tail was back yonder in this corner, and its head is coming up out of the water. Not out of the water, but it's coming up in this corner. So all day long, it wouldn't sit straight up. And that made me so nervous all day because you don't want to see fish laying. But it was fine all day. The hardest thing to do was to catch my second keeper because obviously I've never caught double digit. In that moment, I still didn't believe. I didn't tell.
You just still thought it was 8 pounds.
I never weighed the fish. One thing I've always done is no matter how good my day's going,
right.
Whenever somebody asks me what I have, I'm that guy. I'm never gonna tell myself what I actually have.
Right.
I always go about a couple pounds light because I want to see the scale. I want to be impressed.
Surprised.
So, my cousin was like, "Oh, that fish is giant," over
right.
10. I'm like, well. It's at least, around 8 or so.
Now, you wasn't this calm.
No, heck
JD at
no,
Waterfront is not this calm.
No.
They was hooping and hollering.
Yeah.
Did you hoop and holler?
Oh, I did. I looked up at and it was just a beautiful morning that morning. I was, I was shocked for one thing.
Right.
But yeah, what's awesome about it is my co-angler, he was, I was fired up. He was fired up with me.
Right.
There was no, oh man, I wish he'd caught it. He was so excited for me. He fished hard all day. But it was just a great moment. I remember getting excited, also thanking the good Lord. I couldn't believe it. And I knew it was going to be my PB. I just didn't know if it was over 10. So all day long, I was thinking, well, maybe it's a 10-pounder.
Was it in your head?
Yeah, it was in my head. But the biggest thing is
how did you ever go after? How did you get that out of your head to start back to get your mind saying, okay, I got to catch 4
That's where
more.
we're going. Because, the average person would took that bait out fish's mouth, put it in live well, and thrown it back out there. And that's what I wish I, should have probably done. But the bait that I caught that fish on has been kind of a lucky crankbait that I've had for several years now. It's it's changed colors. It does not look like it looked when you bought it brand new. It's one. How they say made on a Friday.
Yep.
Well, this bait was made on Monday morning at 7 a.m.
Oh Lord, that's drunk.
Because it's got the right sound to it.
Right.
It's the perfect cadence of sound and wiggle, obviously, and it's faded a certain color that I don't know which one of those 3 things has made it a good bait for me, or it could be my confidence, but that bait has been a bait, and that's another story from that day. So I retied that bait.
Okay.
I caught that big and I tied that bait. I actually went ahead and replaced treble hook because I've been a treble hook. And one thing I started doing this year is actually being more, if I'm throwing a bait with treble hooks on, I replace them.
Okay.
Because I used to be the guy that would fish them stock out of the package for the first fish, but now it's like when it comes down to one fish for a tournament.
Right.
But so I actually sat down and retied my bait. And I got started fishing. And I was like,
pumped.
I couldn't believe it because I mean it was so early in the morning. I mean we ain't been out there long.
Sun wasn't up good.
No, it wasn't up good. I hadn't put on sunscreen yet.
Well, I'll be darned.
So,
that is early,
right? But yeah, I thought now I got to catch 4 more. I looked at my cungler. I said I could not be that guy that comes in to the weigh in with one fish and it'd be that big.
Right.
But we know how luck works. A lot of times, if you catch a fish like that first thing in the morning, it's either going to be your day.
Right.
Or that's the one bite you get.
Right.
So at that point in time, I didn't know which side of the fence I was on. So, I finally settled down. I mean, it was a little while later, but I catch my second keeper, and it was probably my second best fish. I basically had that one giant. I had 4 for 10 pounds to go with it.
Really?
So, and I will take that. The Friday before, I had the same weight, if not more weight, because I had all good fish,
right?
And 2 big ones. But it worked out where we caught that one kicker, and then we had 4 for whatever to go with it. And I did cull once, but I finally get it going again. A little while later, catch second keeper, third keeper. Then I hit a lull. Then it's like I got 3 fish, and it's getting late. It gets around lunchtime, and finally, all of a sudden, I catch 2 more in cull. Just boom, boom, boom. So it was still a grind all day because I was stuck to my pattern I was doing. At that point, I wasn't going to change. And I told my co-angler, and he had the confidence too because he's seen what we caught that morning.
Exactly.
So it was an all-day process, but we finally got a limit and cold. And but I'll be honest with you, when I had my limit, because I wasn't telling myself that fish was that big, my mental math all day I did was that fish being an 8-pounder.
Mm-hmm.
So my math, when I came away and I figured I had 18 and a half pounds or something. And then when I saw I had over 20, that told me how big that fish was because I knew how big my small ones were.
Right, exactly.
Which that got me 4th place, 22-10 or 22-11, whatever it was.
God,
and
that
then
is great.
Now the boy that won, he had a great sack of fish. He had I believe 32 pounds. He had a 10 and an 8. So he had a stellar day. And I think there was another guy that weighed a 10-pounder. I could be wrong, but I said Alan Gray. I said I got a big fish I want to weigh, and that boy had his weight in that 10-pounder. So in his mind he's thinking, well, he's got a 7-8-pounder. He's just going to get a check on.
Right, exactly.
And I mean, probably of any tournament I've ever fished, from Toyota Invitational, Gunnersville Club Tournament, when I pulled that fish out, the reaction from him and everybody, that was like a moment that I'll never forget. I mean, just because because he said it was the second biggest bass he's weighed in his career.
Second,
yeah, the biggest one was on the California Delta. So and that man's weighed a lot of bass. So
yes, he has.
So
he sure has.
So but I'll be honest with you, it could happen to anybody, though. I mean, I did what I thought would work for me.
Right.
I did not know that morning that'd be my first bite.
Right.
I mean, that was all the good Lord doing all that for me. I mean,
exactly.
You can feel those kind of moments and know that it ain't you. So
now he had something to do with it, but you also did too.
That's right. We applied ourselves to the best what we knew how to do, and it worked out. But that bait. So I had 2 fish in a live well. This lipless crankbait I'm throwing, right, and I get hung.
Oh, no.
And I mean, one thing I am good at is getting the bait back. All my friends tell you, if you get hung up, I usually can get it back the first try. Well, I'm in the current, and this bait's hung up, and I'm down there trying to get it. It won't come out.
How deep's water?
I could reach it because it was like, it's probably 3 foot or so.
Okay.
I had to reach my rod tip all the way down, which I hate doing that.
Okay.
But basically, I was hung up. I could not jab it and get it out. So I looked to the net laying there. I didn't have a lure retriever, which is kind of dumb. So I'm taking my net and I'm just trying to get around the treble hooks and pulling the bait back because this is the only one I got this that I love this much. So I finally get my net on a treble hook and I pull. Don't get nothing to pull again. Well, I pulled a treble hook and split ring. That's all I get back. I've got a treble hook in the ring, so I got my bait still down there with 1 hook on it. And I'm getting doubtful. And there were so many times that I almost snapped it off and kept going. But my co-angler's like, man, he's like, you got, he's like, that's your, he's like, you got to get that back.
Right, exactly.
So he was cool. He was patient. I mean, he told me this was a 15-minute ordeal. It's a long. I'm not going to tell the whole story. But there was a lot of doubt involved. And I'm taking that net, trying to get around that bait again so it'll grab something. Well, it won't grab it because the boat, mind you, I'm on my knees. I got my hand on my trolling motor foot pedal. I got my hand on this net. I'm trying to keep the boat in the current over this bait. Well, finally, after so many trials, I feel the treble hook down there, and I got my line tied on the bait. Well, I just take the net, jab the bait, and pull my line. Well, when I did that, I break my line. I pull my line up, and there's no bait on it. And I'm like, I lost it. I'm sitting there.
Right.
I picked the net up. The bait's hanging on it.
You are kidding me.
Yeah. So
what'd you say then?
I said, okay, something's got to happen.
Exactly.
So,
you knew it was your day.
And then so I spot lock right there, and I get my conger where you can still make it some good casts and spot lock. Get my split wing pliers, get my treble hooks, get my split rings, and in probably a minute and a half, I had a trap with new rings, new treble hooks on it, retied it, good as new, and finally threw the limit out. So I'm very because my co-angler, he rotated a lot of different baits and he fished hard. So with that being said, I'm very confident that if I wouldn't have got that bait back with the confidence I had in it, I wouldn't have filled the limit out.
That would have really gotten your head.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, but as far as the weight, I didn't really know what I had till I came in. I was, Guntersville's been fishing so great this year that 20 pounds is like what Matt says, they run out of ink before they get to your name, all that good stuff.
Right.
So, and I know Chick's been fishing really good. So I was expecting a lot of big bags.
Right.
So I was really thinking, hopefully I'm, finishing check range.
Right.
Because
exactly.
I had a decent tournament at Guntersville and, wasn't really close to a check. But, I didn't realize I was going to be fourth place. So I was really, really kind of fired up about that, because once I had over 20, everything kind of changed. So
you had a fantastic tournament.
Oh, yeah. It's a blessing. So it's got the fire going. It's kind of one of them things, I'm just, things you look for throughout fishing is you never know when you're going to catch a double digit or do good in this tournament now.
Right. Who was the first person you called?
Honestly, at the weigh-in, the first person I called was my parents.
Well, that is great.
Because, when I weighed in, my phone was blowing up. All my friends were calling asking about it. But
exactly.
I need my parents to watch the weigh-in. That they couldn't be there. They couldn't be there because they were taking my brother out on Guntersville.
Okay.
Perfectly understood.
Right.
We got to keep the routines and everything. So I called them first. Because to make sure I talked to them.
Right.
And then the whole ride home from Chick, was just, on the phone with you and Jen and everybody. So it was just, it was awesome, but it was shocking, How
long did it take for it to sink in?
I woke up the next morning and was like, I caught 11-pounder yesterday, but, so it was awesome. But there's still, people have been asking, what was it like? And I'm like, now, there's people out there that have caught a lot of fish like that might be somewhat, I ain't going to say used to it, but for me, it was just total shock.
Right,
because, you fish all these years on a lake like Guntersville, with goals to catch that monster big one.
Yes,
and you'll catch, you'll catch a lot of good fish out here, but just when you finally catch a double digit, it's just...
JD, there's people that go for lifetimes and never catch a double digit.
There's guys
fish.
on the Elite Series and Brashville Tour that they've caught 7s and 8s, and that's the biggest one.
Exactly.
So it's you gotta have stuff in your favor.
That's exactly right.
It's more than what you can do.
Exactly.
Because in fishing, you apply yourself. You increase your odds in fishing to get more lucky. If that makes any sense. Because there's always that percentage of
luck involved.
Exactly. But everything you do, whether it's changing hooks, studying maps, preparing, all those things increase
getting your baits back.
Yeah. All those things increase your odds.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, I did not know. I had a great day, but I still came in the weigh-in, honestly thinking, well, hopefully, I knew I'd get a check.
Right.
But I really thought, I figured my fish was going to be 9 and somebody's going to have a 10.
Right.
So,
and they would have.
Yeah.
They would have.
So everything just kind of, all I can say now is we got to go to Wheeler and hammer down.
That's exactly right. There's some big fish sitting in Wheeler, too.
They are. Wheeler's been showing out.
Yep, it has.
Showed out the championship last year. So I'm excited about it. I'm going over this weekend to practice. And
look in that camera.
All right.
And everybody that's listening that hadn't caught a double-digit fish, JD at Waterfront's fixing to tell you how to do it. So you tell them how to catch a double-digit fish because now you're the boss.
Right. Well, to catch double-digit fish, you come see us at Waterfront. Right.
Wow. Yes, exactly.
You get your breakfast here. Let us recommend you some baits to throw. Give you some general idea. And go out there and...
Chunk and wine.
Yeah.
especially this time of the year, right?
Yeah, chunky line. I mean, that's not,
Rattletail's good on Gunnersville right now.
right. Yeah, I mean, right now, I mean, mostly it was kind of funny this weekend because I was listening to ABT weigh in while I was out Sunday evening, and the pollen, all the stuff in
Yes,
the lake.
exactly.
A lot of them guys, some of the best ones that are really, really good at scoping, they couldn't do it. They went throwing a trap at chatterbait Sunday,
Right.
And you still saw the weights were still
Stupid.
instant. Yeah. So
They
you
were.
so you ain't got to be out there doing that to catch a double digit or catch a big sack. I mean, yes, is that going to be what you see win a lot? But
Yep.
there's plenty of fish to be caught without it.
That's exactly
Everybody
right.
that comes in waterfront and ask about fishing, I'll kind of talk to them, see what they're comfortable doing, and I want them to go out there and fish in their strength,
Right.
in their way,
Exactly. Their confidence.
right,
level. Right.
But yeah, this time of year, guys, I mean a trap and chatterbait. You're just as liable to catch a one like I caught. So
Exactly.
it just takes having your heart right, praying and just applying yourself, and
Right.
that's all I can say. I just try to do better this year, and treat
Right.
people right, and
You've started out great.
they say what goes around comes around. So.
And it's coming around,
yes,
ain't
sir.
it?
So
So it's went around, so now it's coming back to you.
right. So I'm hoping we can go to Wheeler and stay up in these points. So that's another thing. And now that opened up more goals for the year.
Right.
So
Exactly. So it just keeps on and keeps on.
yes, sir.
Well, good things happen to good people. And I want y'all to know that. So always take the high road, guys, just like JD does. He never takes the low road. He always takes the high road. And he will show you where to fish. He'll tell you what to fish with, how to throw it. He'll tell you the whole 9 yards. Just come see him here at Waterfront, JD at Waterfront. So he's the man. He's got his double-digit fish under his belt. We love him with all our heart, and everybody that talks to him falls in love with him. And so y'all just take the time to come by Waterfront and visit JD. JD, congratulations.
Yes, sir. And I'll say one more thing. What is as good as me catching a big fish as when somebody from out of town or wherever, when they leave here and come back and show me a picture of a 7-pounder. from out here.
Exactly.
That
That you've talked
That
to
to
them.
me is just as much fun as going out there and doing it because they had that experience themselves.
And you
so.
see that smile, don't you?
Oh yeah, and when they smile, I smile. So it's
That's
a
it.
win-win. So,
It is.
But I'm very blessed to work here at Waterfront. And
Very unselfish
Yeah.
person, the most unselfish person I know. Y'all fall in love with him. Come see us at Waterfront and find out how to catch a double-digit bass on Lake Gunnersville. Thanks a lot. Y'all keep your lines tight.